Hi, my name is Hannah Korn, and today for my persuasive speech, I'm going to be talking about a novel called The Alchemist. So this is what the novel actually looks like. This is the cover of the novel. It was written by Paulo Coelho. He is a Brazilian author, and he actually writes all of his novels in Portuguese, including this one. When this novel was first written, it was only written in Portuguese, published in Brazil in 1988, and only very few books were sold. And Paulo actually thought that this book was going to be a flop. He wasn't going to get any publicity, wasn't going to sell his novels like he was expecting to do, until an English man came and actually read his novel and told him that you need to put this into English and it will sell. I promise you it will sell. Please put it into English. And Paulo, on his last hopes, was like, okay, puts it into English, and now it is one of the most read translated books out there, one of the most. And Paulo actually wrote this novel in only 2 weeks, and he said he had known what he was going to write for the longest time just because it was something that resonated within him. And once I tell you a little bit of background about this novel, you'll understand why. So basically, throughout this novel, it's about a young shepherd boy who's traveling around herding his sheep to different cities, living his life, and he always has one ultimate goal. His ultimate goal is to travel to the pyramids and find the treasure. Throughout the novel, he talks about, I want to go to the pyramids, I'm heading to the pyramids, through the deserts, through the mountains, through all these different places to get to his ultimate goal, to find his treasure. And along the way, throughout life, for anyone, there's many trials and tribulations, things leading you in different directions, maybe a different career, different friends, whatever it may be. And throughout his story, the shepherd's story, he meets a couple women, he moves to different cities, he finds jobs, he gets comfortable living in the life he's living, but he hasn't reached his ultimate goal. So throughout the novel, he's kind of battling within himself, deciding, do I stay here where I'm comfortable already, or do I move on to reach what I really truly want to do in life, what my one goal has been throughout this whole thing. So getting into this novel, I feel me, my mom, and my sister all read this book. My sister got it and recommended it to both of us, and we're all different ages. I'm 19, my sister's 26, and my mom is 50. Like, for all three of us to read it, and we were able to get through it, we were able to understand what was going on, the plot, that shows you that it really uses like a universal vocabulary. It's not using an elevated diction that only scholars are going to be able to understand, or slang that maybe certain people from different geographic areas can't understand, because this is a man from Brazil, not from a completely different country, and it was completely understandable. Really easy to read. It was easy to get through. The chapters were easy, but the ultimate plot, the ultimate theme, underlying theme throughout the story, I feel like anyone can relate to, whether you're a preteen, a grandmother, like no matter what the age is, everyone has already gone through these trials and tribulations, like maybe small, but you've gone through them. Even me being 19, whether it's with deciding what college to go to, or deciding on my major, deciding on what sport I was going to play in high school, like these are all just little things leading you to your ultimate goal in life. And I feel like the underlying theme was very relatable, and that made it easier to want to continue reading. Something that I would say is a little bit negative though was character development. The main character himself was really developed. You started to learn about him and stuff, but there were so many side characters that you meet throughout the story that they didn't really go into, which I understand. There is the main character, but you also want to get to know each and every other character throughout. And often they didn't have names. They would be referred to as like the king or the merchant daughter, which I feel like made them just feel insignificant, which maybe that was the point in the end, but I guess that just left a little bit of confusion. For me, I would give this book about an 8 out of 10. I would say an 8 out of 10 because I got through it. I finished it. I was interested, and it was something I could relate to, I guess, but maybe not as much in my walk of life, not as much in where I'm at, because right now I'm going to school to go towards my career. I'm getting ready. I'm in the steps of going towards what I want to do in life. For someone who's maybe 30 years old, they went through college, or they went through the time of discovering different career paths, and maybe they're not happy, or maybe they're not completely satisfied with where they will be at. They may have a different view. They may have a different perspective on how they feel about this. But for me, I wasn't 100% like, I completely understand how he feels because I haven't experienced it as much. But one quote that really stuck out to me that I really wanted everyone to kind of think about at the end was, when you really want something, the whole universe will conspire so that your wish comes true. And I feel like that's really true. And I feel like, I don't know, everyone can kind of relate to that. Like, that's something that everyone can relate to, is that if you really want something, the world's not going to work against you, you know? So maybe we all have a true destiny. And throughout this novel, it expresses that there's going to be things that come up in the way before you really hit your true destiny. And it's up to you to decide, do you want to stop or do you want to continue going? So I feel like I did read this novel. Maybe it didn't hit me as much while reading it, but I read it at the perfect time because as I'm coming of age, I'm coming into full adulthood, it was a good time to read it because it's telling me, don't give up on your goals. Continue working until you are at where you've always dreamed of being. You're complete what you dream of doing. And I feel like that's really a good message.